Jake and Josh joined me in this video interview to talk about their charity project, Crypto Doggies. They've created and scripted a process that creates over 10,000 unique doggy character images as NFTs, with a portion of the proceeds when they go on sale going to animal welfare and dog-related shelters or charities. It's pretty cool. You can find out more about their project at CryptoDoggies.org. And while I have your attention, don't forget to hit that like button, click subscribe, and click on that notification bell, and you'll get the latest updates and videos about everything you need to know about Cardano and the projects that are built on it. All right, let's get into the interview. Jake, Josh, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It is an absolute pleasure to have you guys here. You're both working on a really cool project. I was about to say little, but I read a little bit about what and how much time you've actually put into it. So it's not quite a little project, it's quite a big project. Could you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about how you got into crypto and especially Cardano?
Sure. Thanks, Pete. It's great to be here. I'm Jake, software engineer by trade. I've been dabbling in crypto for a few years. And I recently caught up with a good friend of mine, Josh, and turns out we both wanted to work on a crypto project, which is really good timing. Josh definitely more knowledgeable than I am, and he convinced me that Cardano was a very exciting project to work with. And we bounced a few ideas back and forth, and then the idea of Crypto Doggies started forming.
Yeah, Jake pretty much already introduced me, so I'm not sure what to add here.
Well, whereabouts are you guys based?
I'm right now in Russia, but I lived in UK for about 10 years, and that's where we met each other.
I see. Yeah,
I've left the UK and now I'm based in the Netherlands.
Ah, cool, awesome. It's I have to get back to Europe. I haven't been in a long time, but I don't have a feeling we're not going to travel there for a little while longer.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for the audience, can you tell us a little bit about what an NFT is? Like, explain to the new listeners and the newcomers to the crypto space what an NFT is. And Josh, would you like to explain that?
Yes. So NFT is actually a token stored on blockchain that is unique and often represents how some media or like a photo or video are attached to this token. And this is the main reason why I'm so excited about the token, because we can attach some meaningful message to it. Like for the Crypto Doggy project, we are attaching a photo of a doggy, which is a completely unique one out of 10,000. And a great thing about NFT is that it kind of defines who owns it, and it can only be one copy and easily proven of ownership.
Right. So you've made 10,000 of these.
Yes.
That's quite a lot. But why would anyone want to actually own one of these NFTs instead of just buying a picture of it or something like that?
Well, it's a good question. I believe they both have a place in our world. For the NFT, it's a digital product, which is by definition more flexible. It's easier to trade, easier to exchange, and as I already mentioned, proof ownership and proof that it is original, which is why I believe NFT is a better option for us. But on the other hand, NFT is never going to replace the real world, because I cannot put it on the wall of my house. So it's kind of a pity.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we can use smart contracts to even add more meaning to the NFTs. In our case, we plan to add smart contracts of donating 50% to the charity each time somebody exchanges NFT. So, for instance, if we sell it on the marketplace and there is a fee on the marketplace, 50% is going to the charity, which would be very difficult to achieve in the real world on the auctions.
That's really cool. I didn't realize you were doing that to create the 50% that goes to charity each time something gets sold. Can you do that after creating the NFT?
Yes, we can do it through several means. So, for example, we can create a marketplace on a blockchain which would do this, but to enforce the 50% to the charities, even if it is traded on our marketplace, we will have to give possibility for people to migrate to a different contract that has a smart contract inside.
Gotcha. I'm looking forward to seeing that in action.
Yes, that's very exciting for us as well. I mean, I don't think anyone has done anything like this before.
So with the NFTs in the Cardano space that I've been involved with recently, it brings me back to some things that I did when I was younger. 10 years ago, I played too many online trading card games, and part of the fun there was just a community of other people who were just wasting too much time there and swapping cards. But that was a game, and it was all running on the game server. So now that we have Cardano and we have a community of people who have these collectibles in their physical wallet that are kind of yours, and you can swap. So I can imagine a few months from now we'll have some games where you can trade between games. It's like you're playing multiple games and you can swap with everybody.
Right.
And that is just really cool. Like that whole movement of being more in control of kind of data, or like actually having a piece yourself. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I'm really actually excited to see what type of games come out on the Cardano blockchain. That I've seen a couple in the works, a couple of plans, but it'd be great to actually see something in action in a few months' time, maybe a little bit longer.
Considering the fees are much lower than Ethereum, I assume there are going to be more games as well.
Yeah, I remember Crypto Kitties back in 2017 and playing around with that. But to trade a kitty now these days, you'd have to pay what, $50 US or $60, $70 US to trade a kitty? At least, yes. Those gas fees. Anyway, so can you guys tell me a little bit about your project and why you put it together?
Well, it's, as I mentioned, 10,000 unique pictures of cute doggies, and each picture is an NFT token on Cardano blockchain. So our NFTs are not limited just to this. We actually are committed to distribute 50% of all money we acquire from sales to dog shelter charities. And also, we put a lot of effort to actually make a high quality product and platform that we are going to share with the community so that everyone can create their own NFT collectibles. Because right now it's like completely naked blockchain. Yes, it works and it exists, but there are completely zero tools available to people. And frankly saying, creating an NFT is a very difficult and long journey. So we are hoping to reduce the investments people have to make on the technical side and focus on actually making great pictures and sell them.
Now, what about yourself, Jack?
I have a little break where we have a guest. We have a guest.
Now, there's a story
Hey, buddy.
behind this dog.
Yeah, there's a story behind this dog. So this dog was adopted. Buddy, come back. This dog was adopted about 1 year ago, and we got him from a shelter in Poland. So he lived 4 years in the shelter, and this is one of the reasons why donations to doggies is
Camera shy.
dogs and cables don't go well together.
No. They say never to work with kids or animals.
So I adopted Barney a year ago from a shelter, and he lived there for 4 years. And when we saw that he was up for adoption, said that he was on the kill list. Like the shelter in Poland he's
Whoa.
from is full.
Yeah.
So we were very happy to get him out of there because that was not a nice environment for him. And then when Josh mentioned that we should do a charity project, I was super excited about being able to help more dogs, because that is definitely, we keep seeing more photos of dogs for adoption, and I can't adopt 10 or 20 dogs.
No, we all can't. I wish I could too. I live in a big apartment and it's just no dogs allowed. But I'm definitely a dog fan as well. All right. So you've got 10,000 of these dogs. Did you guys sit down and draw them all for like weeks on end? How did you create all these little doggies?
Yeah, great question. And I actually believe it would be faster just to sit down and make them each manually. That's a real life of how difficult launching a collectible NFT on Cardano is. So we actually created 450 unique images of items, smiles, body parts, and we built a script together with a probability table to combine these parts. Made some exceptions, like a few item A and item B cannot be together, and so on. More coding on merging the layers and putting all the pieces together, so on. And that's how we ended up spending about 5 weeks instead of 3 if we have done it manually. The main point is that we really hope that other people are going to use what we have built, and we will save them a lot of time.
Yeah, I'd really hope you do open source all that stuff. I'd love to get my hands on it and actually see what I could come up with as well. It sounds like a very nifty tool, but still sounds very time consuming in regards to getting it all together. Like, so if I had your code that pieced all of the images together, all I would have to do is work with an artist to create all the assets. Is that correct? I'm assuming there's still more code work to do to, map everything and align all the images and whatnot when it gets created, but it will help a lot, right?
Yeah, it really depends on how different your idea is going to be from our docs. I mean, if you follow the same structure, then you probably all just have to replace the images, put your own probability table, and launch the script. And you'll get as many dogs, cats as you want.
Whatever you want. Crypto fishies, crypto kitties, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So this whole thing, it's all automated, right? Like it's the process that you put together is all completely automated. We're not dealing with like a Google Sheets or anything to buy them.
Oh, thanks God we don't. Yes, you're right. It's all automated, and even more so, you've put some kind of very technical solutions to scale up. For example, well, I don't want to go into deep technical details. It will be very boring, but we ended up building a system where we have tested it with more than 1,000 bots doing actions in the same time, and we managed to make a video recording demonstrating that it actually could handle 1,000 reservations a second. So that's how automated it is.
That's pretty cool. I did have a look at the website a little bit earlier to see how the process worked, and it looked quite smooth, very similar to how those space buds were launched.
Yes.
One of the very early projects on Cardano. Now, so can we talk through the actual buying process? So the user goes to the website. How does that all work? We're not executing any smart contracts there at all, are we?
Yes, sadly, there are no smart contracts yet, so we can't. And because we have to use the only tools we have available for us, we use the price like a key, or let's say a fake smart contract. And once we receive a payment from a person, well, let me actually start from the beginning. So once a person arrives on our website and get interested in buying a crypto doggie and donating half to the charity, they click on a fat buy button, and see a message explaining that they have to send like 32 ADA to a specific address, and they have a limited amount of time, like 15 minutes, which is far more than enough to send the payment. And on a separate machine, which is not related to website, we have a Cardano node running, and it checks if there are any payments arrived to a specific address. And if, for example, 32 ADA was received, then we know that a person who has reserved a token for this price has paid, and we are now sending back NFT to the address that we received money from. And it's all automated and runs smooth. I would say once person sends, it's about 30 seconds until they actually see a message congratulating them for buying a crypto doggie, as well as what doggie they have.
That is really fast. Some of them you have to wait a few minutes, but 30 seconds, that's a really fast response time.
It might be a minute. It's based on when is the next blockchain cycle happens, which is usually about 30 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, so I am interested in some of the infrastructure that you have to put together to make this happen. So you have, I'm assuming, one server or EC2 instance or droplet, whatever it may be, to run the website. And then what type of instance or server resources are you using for the communication to the blockchain?
Well, yes, we have several servers, maybe 4. I'll try to go through each of them. So first one is a web server, website itself, which is hosted behind a content delivery network that Jake has set up. It helps a lot to ensure, well, it doesn't go down in case a lot of people try to open a website at the same time. Second server is actually the API, which communicates with database server, which is number 3. And the API is how people on a website can start a reservation by clicking a buy button. We send a request to the API server. And then we have a 4th server, which runs separately for security and safety, I guess, which actually listens to the Cardano blockchain and checks if there are any transactions arrived for the wallet address of our Crypto Doggies. And if they arrive, if it arrives, then it processes the transaction in the same moment and sends back the response, which is either NFT that person has purchased, or if the payment amount is wrong, then it returns back this payment.
That's fantastic. I asked because I've seen other automated projects crash. Their database gets absolutely flooded. I can't remember the project and off the top of my head, but I may provide a link to it. But they had to solve the problem where they had so many concurrent users, they had to build a queue system. So they had to line up in regards to buying whatever crypto project they were working on. And that queue process slowly fed people in to buy whatever it was, rather than letting 1,000 people in at a time and crashing their servers completely. So you mentioned a little bit earlier, theoretically, you've set this up and tested it for 1,000 concurrent users at the same time. Is that correct?
Yes, it's far more than we ever needed, but I do love to optimize the code, and it's just my hobby.
Yes. I know the feeling. We do a lot of server optimization like that as well, and I can't remember the automated testing tool that we used. It's a red logo. I can't remember what it's called, but we use that to mimic user actions on websites to see how far we can take it, and if it will essentially stress test it to its maximum until we destroy the servers.
Yes, you mentioned some launches of our projects which had difficulties. I think you are talking about CryptoDoggies project.
Yes, that might have been it.
Yeah, and actually, after we had problems launching, I messaged them and we discussed internally with a software engineer from Knitis, and I went into deep detail how we've done everything, and they did pick up some of the solutions. So we are kind of happy to help them launch successfully second time. I'm against the queue system personally, but I mean it depends on how we want to implement it.
Yep.
I think it's far more exciting to let everyone buy as fast as they can.
I think so too. It creates a real big buzz in regards to the interaction with it. I read somewhere someone was waiting in the queue for over an hour, and as time progresses, the price goes up. So they started and the price was 28, and by the time they got to the end of the queue to actually buy something, it was like 120 ADA.
Yes, I did sit there for 1 hour. It was me.
All right, fair enough. All right. So you mentioned all these proceeds go to charities. What charities are they going to, and how can the community and people verify that the money is going to these charities?
So the first donation went out a few days ago. So the donation about $5,000, and it went out to Polsche Asielhonden charity in Poland. This is the same charity where Barney is from, and being able to help them definitely is just very exciting for me and Anya, who are taking care of Barney. The next charity is being voted right now on our Discord. So we had a bunch of suggestions from the community in our Discord group, and then we took the 3 that seemed to have gotten the most reactions and put them up for a vote. And then the verification, we will put up a blog post shortly after the charity has given a statement. So right now the charity has confirmed that they've received the money, but they're still working on just updating their website and updating their social media to reflect that. So once we have that piece up and running, we can share, where it went, why it went, what it's going to, and then some tidbits about how exactly did we get the Cardano from us to the charity.
Yeah, because a lot of charities, so when you're sending the donations over, I explain to the charities what Cardano is. And are you sending ADA or are you sending it in their local currency?
So this charity we reached out to, we discussed with them about setting up cryptocurrency wallet for them. Now it turns out that the Polish lady running the charity and her husband don't understand much about crypto, and they would love to accept a donation in crypto, but they didn't have time to set anything up. Like right now, she is working with 30 dogs, and she has room for about 20 dogs, and it's just a matter of priorities. So we chose to actually send a donation via bank transfer, because that is what's getting the money where it can be used in a reasonable time frame. But we'll work with each charity and we'll try our best to educate them about cryptocurrencies and having them accept both fiat and crypto donations. But sometimes it's just a matter of getting the donation to people where they can use it.
Yeah, precisely.
Yes, I hope one day charities are going to ask for ADA instead of bank transfer. We are not here yet.
Soon, very soon. All right. How can people find out more about the project and the charities that you're working with? Where should we go, and where do you want people to head to?
So we have a website, CryptoDoggies.org. That's definitely the go-to spot. I'll have some links to two communities. One is Twitter, where we're sharing all the announcements, and the other is the Discord. The Discord group has all of the Crypto Doggy fans in there, and it has a separate channel for nominating charities. Also has some channels for trading Crypto Doggies, because that's a fun little thing you can do if you've purchased a few and you want to swap them for a different type of dog.
Yeah, that's one of the unique things about it. You buy something and it's completely random. So if you don't like it, you can trade it for something else that someone else might have. So I highly encourage everyone to join the Discord, check out the website, and follow you guys on Twitter. Now, you've got some giveaways going, don't you?
Yes. So right at the start of the Twitter, you'll find our main giveaway when the project started, where we're giving away 100 doggies. And there should be a link to that on the website as well. And it should go to GiveLab, and that's still running. And then separately, we set aside 2 dogs to share with the audience and everyone who's tuning in.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So I'll put details in regards to those 2 crypto doggies and how our audience can actually get their hands on them. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure. I'd also love to see the code for this on GitHub anytime soon. It would definitely build up your profiles.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking with us today.
All right. We'll catch you guys soon, and good luck with the project.